And it's crazy. The first fight was a robbery. The last fight was a robbery in this card.
What are your thoughts on the Islam's accusations that he used the IV to when he was regaining his weight? Highly
Whoa, I don't know what a judge is scoring. I'll keep it a buck.
obvious.
Cause
At
look,
this point, we all don't know nothing.
I don't know that.
Measurements, plug here, let 'em in. Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been.
What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. Today we're in the motherfucking Fight Club and we're talking UFC 284 Makhachev versus Volkanovski recap. And before we get into the action, the controversy, heavy opinions, and all the chaos that it was, go down, like, and subscribe. Every subscriber matters. Drop your comment of your favorite fight, if you had something to get off your chest, or if you think something was a clear cut robbery, let us know. But as always, this is Paul. Pick on one of them contra, the drunk gambler who's with. Turn that shit up. Yeah. Guessing you're not an Islam fan, Cash.
Raul. We was in Australia.
Perth.
Izzy was there. Taito Avasa was there. Robert Whitaker was there, man. That whole Oceania was in the building. Dan Hooker was there. Niggas' family was there. You know who wasn't there? Khabib. Motherfucking. And they robbed my dog in front of his home country. He didn't even give him the chance to Aussie.
Oh, did you see Islam did? Also, Islam got the chance. He was on the video of him in the drive back home with the crew. He's like, Aussie, oi, oi, oi. I was like, ooh.
That's what I'd understand him for your pound for pound number 2. You gotta remember Aussie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck them niggas. But that was funny as fuck. I saw that and I was like, I hate this man. But hey, Paul, man, I'm shook. I'm bounced back because we had a couple of days now. But if you wanted to do this episode on Monday, you would have seen me crying. You did this on Sunday, crying.
I was so lit Sunday, bro. Not lit, bro. The Super Bowl was on like Saturday. That's because it went over into Sunday because it was post midnight here. Man, you were there. You saw the the change in attitude because I had a lot of money on Islam, so I was sitting there silent, waiting for the scorecards. I was letting y'all manipulate and make me believe that Volk actually won, bro. Y'all was bullying me into believing that man won that fight, manipulating me. So I was sitting there sad. And then when I heard the righteous scorecards that was at 284, bro, the happiness I felt, bro, I almost changed religions, bro. I was I was on saved, changed on one night. But the aftermath, the aftermath is gonna be there's some shit to sweep up that we got to talk about.
Look at the shit like this, man. I don't know what a judge is scoring. I'll keep it a buck.
Obviously, at this point, we all don't know nothing.
I don't know. That's all I can understand. Because, like, you could have made an argument that it was 4-1 vote. You could have argued that. I wouldn't have. I would have just stuck with the 3-2, and then whoever won the 5th round, which was Volk, did that. But, like, when Talia Santos held down Shevchenko, motherfuckers did not give a fuck. They didn't think twice about that shit. No fucks were given about. They said she got whooped those rounds. So Volk did. But when Islam holds down Volk, because he's not going for a submission, he's just literally clinging on. There's no in the first round. Okay, cool. And then in the second round, that's the one where he got no, not the second or the 4th round where he got really close to the fence, and then Islam cut off the fence, and that's when Volk was like, "Oh, I'm stuck, so I'm gonna just start hitting his ass back and talking my shit. Like, you're supposed to knock me out. You're not even trying." I'm making you look like a
That was
bitch.
probably my favorite part of the whole fight was when he had his back in Volk's face. It was like just talking with him and it just making faces of this he I was like, bro, what are they saying right now? It sounds like they're having a conversation.
Nah, man, that's Volky, dog. Big ball Volky, the pound for pound #1. The people's
I
lightweight
think
champ.
that's the difference between Islam and Habib was like Habib always did the talking. Volkanovski, like I'm not saying Volk wouldn't be able to beat Habib. I'm just saying that there would never been a person that would have been in the ring with Habib talking and shit like that once it hit the floor. Habib would have made sure shit was done.
I don't see. I'm a big Volk fan, but I just saw that like it was a close fight with Islam, and my biggest take on Islam is that he was not Khabib. Like he's not Khabib, so like I don't think that fight would be too great. But oh man, Islam, don't get me wrong, it was a close fight. At the end of the day, it's a close fight. So you can't really one thing about me, it'd be different like if it was like the last Patty fight. Like we knew that shit wasn't close and they still gave it to him and it looked even crazy. Like even Sean O'Malley versus Peter Yan, you can at least say Sean O'Malley looked good the whole fight. Vote, in my opinion, Vote thought he did good enough. Joe Rogan thought he did more. He did enough. Everybody on the live stream thought he did enough. Him and his team thought he did enough. Izzy was fucking devastated when he got when the results came out. Oh man, but it is what it is. Such as like Vote, I think is a fucking G because he hasn't tripped, complained, bitch, crying, or whined about none of that shit.
So they did. He's still champion. They're both still champion of their relative weight classes. Did you see the pound for pound list that's came out since?
First off, my nigga Max Holloway at 15, the fuck with me. But you already know it. My dog Bulk at number.
Did you see the ESPN pound for pound list?
Oh, them niggas, our pound for pound list doesn't matter.
They had a tie at first.
Well, see, this is why they don't matter.
People were like, "Ain't no way in hell you thought a tie would appease MMA fans." MMA fans are the last person you can give a fucking tie to.
Dead ass. We're not going for that even slightly.
So yeah, I thought it was a little funny, but the fight itself, like you said, real close. I'm not gonna go deep into it because you already hit on most of it. We hit on the rounds. The big thing is we have to stop saying I do it myself, but we have to stop saying every fight's a robbery. That was a close fight. Just because you thought he won, like we can all say it's a close fight. Anytime we'll say anything's a close fight, we can't say it's robbery. Whenever it's an actual robbery, we'll know it's robbery, like Patty and shit. But like you said, when fights are close, we can. Sometimes it's okay if your guy loses. I think that Islam won. No, but I did see multiple outlets score. They had MMA outlet scorecards, and there was a lot that did have Islam winning on their scorecards. So I was sitting there like, okay, well, at least it's like there are people's eyes who do think Islam won this fight too. Like it wasn't like 98% of all scorecards around the world has Volk winning, only 2%. I think it was more like 60-40, 65-35 type shit. Where I was like, okay, well, so they just happened to be the 35 that was watching the fight tonight type shit.
I respect it. I mean, everybody's entitled to opinion, and the only opinion that matters are the judges. Dana White's opinion doesn't even matter if you think about it. So all he can do is just stop you from getting another title shot. But I just look at this fight like I don't know what they're looking at. That's just what pisses me off. Like, it'd be easy for me if I could say, like, okay, takedowns and ground control is the number 1, 2 criteria, and judges are looking for this. If you're on the floor, they're not worried about the damage you're doing. They're trying to see like control time. Who is he going for submissions? I just don't know where the scale is. Like if there was a consistent universal rules and a universal scale and all that, I would love it for that. But the shit's insane. But shout out to Volk. He fought like a fucking true champion because he fucking is one. It would have been nice to see him get his hand raised in Australia. They gave him his chance for a moment. And that's why I think it was a robbery because we think he won, and he had the chance to do it in the big grandest stage of all and be a fucking folk hero in Australia forever. But they robbed my nigga of that opportunity. Can't say they robbed him of the lightweight championship. It was a close fight. If you want to win fights, try not to get taken down. Natural. But Volk exposed holes in Islam's game. Because this was big. My coach was a big in wrestling. My coach was a big, yo, just stand up. You have the longest legs I've ever seen, motherfucker. Just stand up. Just stand up. Stand straight. Every time you're down, stand straight up and make him force you to the mat. Then you start doing a bunch of extra shit. That's what Volk was doing. Volk was not worried, like we said in the countdown. He wasn't training to stop takedowns. He was training to get taken down to get the right back the fuck up. And two things that I think was how Volk killed Islam was, one, his strength was there. Like, people aren't gonna respect his strength was there, and it's not like him and Islam is just because Islam is in a weight class 10 pounds bigger than him doesn't mean that he's automatically 10 pounds bigger than him no matter what. I think he probably would have came in 7 or 8 pounds big because Islam is fucking huge, but he didn't go immediately to his top form. But motherfucking, and then also Volk's cardio. Volk don't get tired for shit. The same way he fought you in the first round is how he's gonna fight you in the fifth.
See, it was a unanimous decision for Islam. So all 3 judges thought Islam won. The one that I have the biggest issue with is the last judge who had it 49-46, Islam. And we almost universally everyone agrees the 5th round Volk won. Okay, so that's one of that one. So this judge thinks he only won one round. So let's say Volk won that one. Volk got knocked down, and like this, I think in the first when he got the knockdown, and then he was tearing up Islam, got the knockdown, and then I remember Islam shot for a takedown. Volk stuffing it pretty badly, laughing about it, like, "Come on, get back up, let's do this." And I was like, so those are 2 rounds. Like, I just think no matter what, Volk won 2 rounds. The round which he got knocked down, and the 5th round for sure. I can agree with the other 2 judges, 48-47. I can see how that happens. There were close rounds, and then even whenever you look at the numbers on the paper, takedowns, Islam's 4 of 9 with 7.5 minutes control to Volkanovski's 0 of 4 with 3 minutes control. Total strikes 95 Islam to Volk's 164, but Volk did throw double the amount of strikes as well. Islam, when we go to significant strikes, it's a lot closer. Volkanovski 70, Islam 57, 36 head strikes for Islam, 37 for Volk, 18 body for Islam, 21 for Volk. Leg kicks is where there's the big difference. 3 for Islam, 12 for Volk. So, but like you're talking about the head, 36-37, body 18-21. When they were the shots that was landing, yes, there was more legs shots, but then you put on top of it the almost 8-minute control time for Islam. Looking back at it, like fresh eyes, knowing the outcome, I can see how Islam won that fight. I can piece it together. In the moment, drinking my drinks, watching it live, in the party with everybody, but everyone thought Volk won that fight. So it's in the past. Like, at this point, we can bitch, complain, and moan, but hopefully we get a rematch. I think that's the only thing we can ask for.
I don't want an immediate rematch.
Give it a year or 2.
That is it. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I might take Islam in a rematch because Islam is not going for that twice. Like, that boy was like, he underestimated Volk. Volk found holes. She's gonna strain the holes in his game. That's crazy. But I'm still gonna pick Volk regardless. But Islam is a monster. But before we go off to the next one, Ariel Helwani said it best. Islam won the contest. Volk won the fight.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I wasn't moving on just yet. I gotta address the elephant in the room. What are your thoughts on the Islam's accusations that he used the IV to when he was regaining his weight? Highly.
Whoa, that's what they were talking about when they kept saying IV.
Yeah, Dan Hooker came out and tweeted for the next day after the fight saying, Let me just go to the horse's mouth. Let me just go to exactly what Dan Hooker had said. I don't want to misquote my boy Dan Hooker. I'm not here for putting words in people's mouth.
I heard about that IV shit. I didn't look too deep into it.
All right, let me just go to my boy Dan Hooker's page because he went on to Twitter right after the fight and he tweeted, "Dumb cunt thinks he can fly to Australia, hire a nurse to give him an IV, and we won't find out. Cheating dog." And then he
Interesting.
went out, and then people were like, "Is he talking about Islam?" And he confirmed, "Yes, Islam is a cheating dog." And then said you, and then like talked about USADA, and it was like if he doesn't cheat, he doesn't win. Someone was like, "Oh, who are you talking about?" And he's like, "Islam is a cheat." And then so it's all these crazy things, these accusations of Islam had to use an IV during the rehydration period, and that's how he put on all that weight and everything.
Oh.
I can't see it, and the only reason I'm gonna say I can't see it is because that man is a devout Muslim. I just can't see how Habib and his camp roll and Islam and everyone in the camp and how devout Muslims they are. I just can't see them cheat.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's good stereotype. Like I'm not trying to stand, but like they're just so devout to their religion. Like they were talking about when Habib won the belt, he would like even when they go to all the fancy hotels and they go to all the fancy everything, he would give his older brother the big master room, and Habib would sleep on the couch or something because in Muslim religion, the brother whoever's the oldest is the person who gets the biggest, the most everything. So the big brother would get the big fancy suite, whereas Habib's fucking champion of the world at the moment. But yet his older brother sleeps in the bigger house, gets on the first class ticket. The bigger brother gets everything you think Habib should be doing, just because that's not how his religion does things. So
wow, what a chivalry is not dead, man.
yeah, so that's I'm like I just can't see how I don't know how these people roll. I just can't see him being cheap. I just couldn't see it up on these people. They just don't they're not like that.
No, I respect it to the fullest.
Do you think Islam is just out here using IVs? They have. It's not just Dan Hooker said something, and people are pointing out that there is a bruise right here on
Mm-hmm.
Islam.
Ooh.
It was for the pre-fight picks, but everyone says the pre-fight picks happen before you weigh in, so he wouldn't use an IV before weighing in. He would weigh in and then IV. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
throwing out all the information I've heard, so you see the full picture, right?
I respect it. I mean, I didn't hear about it. I'm looking to do more research on it. But like you said, I don't see them boys cheating.
All right.
But you
I
trying
didn't
to
see how
talk?
the card goes because Dan Hooker was like tagging USADA and shit. So it's on Dana White's radar. He's gonna have to answer it at some point. The question will come. But let's move on. There's nothing. I just had to bring up the controversy before we move on to any other fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yair Rodriguez getting the triangle choke submission in the second round over Josh Emmett. Viva la Mexico, baby.
Yeah. Well, you were always nah. You almost got me. Y'all see that America? He almost got me. That boy was screaming
I
hard ended.
I was definitely the one in the Twitter chat saying they were like, yeah, the best Mexican UFC fighter is winning tonight. And I was like, damn, I didn't know Josh Emmett was Mexican. And then a little later, I was like, Viva la Emmett. So that was definitely what I was chanting throughout this fight. Viva la Emmett.
How'd you feel about the fight? Because I felt like Ebbet did great in the first round.
Emmett. So I knew Yair was going to land more strikes. Yair's got the volume. He's got the cardio. He's a wild man.
Mexican, you know them style. You know their style is not to be fucked with.
Josh Emmett, I just knew he would land counters. And there was like two, like he would miss a whole bunch of shots. It would look bad. Yair would definitely tag him a lot. He was definitely lost the first round. But Emmett landed those strikes. I was like, ooh, Yair felt that. Yair, like he's not gonna change how he's fighting right now, but like he's definitely just felt that punch to the body or the overhand to the face. Like he's like when the ones that landed, they landed hard. So I was like, okay, Emmett can do this in the second, third round. He's gonna catch him maybe. But Yair's shown I mean, people keep saying that he subbed Brian Ortega, but like Ortega's arm popped. Some people believe, well, it wouldn't have popped if Yair didn't get him in that position because Brian Ortega had to pull his arm back to get out of position, and that's why it popped. Fair argument. I also just think natural accidents happen in fights all the time. So some people think Yair submitted the best featherweight BJJ probably there is in Ortega, and just submitted the best wrestler probably in featherweight, and Emmett. So
Hey, that triangle choke was awesome. Like the way you set it up and the way you locked it in. And I just feel like Emmett was just a little too stiff fighting Yair. I think you gotta like if you're gonna fight somebody like that, you gotta be really ready to open up and come like 5 different ways to make him feel uncomfortable and not really understand. But I don't know if Emmett has all that in his game plan. But he's a great guy though, definitely a great guy. Ball bias is my thing.
he, we never get to see him wrestling. He's kind of like the featherweight Gaethje, where he just likes to create highlight reels with his heavy hands. But Yair submitting him and again the Ortega stuff, his BJJ looks super legit. I'll give him that, and that's like he is a wild. Like everyone just calls him the wild man. Like I mean, he landed 98 strikes to Emmett's 35. Like he's definitely a striker. But the fact that he can sub people too, like him versus Volk, I'm definitely wrong with Volk. I think Volk will absolutely like if Yair wants to strap, he better come with a strap, like because there ain't no way he's beating Volk with his hands. But it's MMA, it's UFC. You never know. He definitely has a good skill that he can. If it hits if it hits the mat, he can definitely get submission.
He's gonna beat him with his mind.
And then other than that, a lot of these fights are mostly prospect fights. So like,
It was a lot of finishes. It was a pretty quick card.
definitely was quick. I mean, the main event didn't come quick enough, but quick card. Jack Della Maddalena
Killed Randy Brown. Like I was like, wow, there is a difference.
14-2. Like he's the next New Zealand guy up. Everyone's been hype on that a big train for a while. He's at welterweight, and he has the full skill set. Like we saw, like he got the submission, but that was after he was kind of whooping, like feeling him out on the stand up.
Real shit, man. What about what's her name? That was
Um,
a
the Luke Bonami, the Loma.
Loma, yeah,
Yeah,
Loma. She
it's
was.
Loma Luke Bumi. I don't know how to say her last name.
I don't know where she's from, but like my stupid ass keeps thinking that's the one of the pride flags. But yeah, she did her thing. I mean, at first I thought she kind of lost to Ellis Reed. But when I look back at her, she was fucking her up the first round. She just got taken down in a sense, but like she came back and she subbed the fuck out of Elise Reed, and I was like, oh, she's on my radar now. And then
Early
the
in the
first
second
fight,
round.
and it's crazy. The first fight was a robbery. The last fight was a robbery of this card.
Damn, that's how you. This is get it off your chest, yeah. Get it off your chest, bro.
Volk, you're a true champion, man. I'll let you know. Let me know if I got to point to anybody that thinks otherwise. Pound for pound king.
Pound for pound, I think Volk. Yeah, Volk's definitely still pound for pound. Jack Jenkins, that boy, came out, put on a show at featherweight. He has a mean mustache game. Definitely, I put on my radar just because how clean his mustache was and just how loud the crowd popped when he came out. Because that was the first time I heard the crowd really go crazy. So I was like, okay, who's this? Who's this guy? I kind of learned a little about him.
And I fucked with that Blake Builder. That was like the second card. He beat Shane Young. I think Shane Young's Australian too. But I liked how he just accepted to be like the bad guy. Dangerous.
I always say when you're a villain, bro, you gotta lean into it. You gotta be the biggest villain of them all. Stop trying to save your image. Pull a Colby Covington.
Well, yeah, there was a few first round knockouts. There was one.
Not even just knockouts, just like rear naked chokes too, like first round finish.
The first fight was a draw. That shit was ugly as fuck.
But I mean, who else fought? Jamie Malarkey. He beat the fuck out Prado.
Yeah.
Didn't you say he slammed the shit out of him?
Slammed that nigga kid. I was watching that nigga like, wow.
Australians put on. I don't think as many Australians and New Zealanders won as I thought there would be because there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and out of the 10,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I keep
only
it a buck.
5 won. 50% of the people at home won. That's crazy, bro.
Nah, well, one of them got robbed, but
And one was a draw.
So I look at this card kind of crazy because like I don't think it settled anything. Like everything is just still up in the air now. Like now we know Islam isn't Khabib, but he's gonna get better because he's not gonna take that. Because this first thing he said when he went to the corner is rematch. So like he's ready. He's gonna get better. He's gonna like go to another level. He's gonna run through his division and he's gonna try to get it back from Volk before Volk gets too old. Oh man. And this Yair Rodriguez, and so Yair Rodriguez is the interim champ. He's gonna fight next. But like, if Arnold Allen beats Max Holloway, none of that matters in my eyes.
Yeah, and I think Volk can do whatever the fuck he wants.
And Robert Whitaker
Volk can pick whoever he wants to fight after that. Honestly.
Okay. And then Robert Whitaker still doesn't have an opponent. I kept seeing him like doing the weigh-ins and stuff like that. They was keeping him active. He was doing interviews and shit. But why does Robert Whitaker not have an opponent?
Because think of his division, bro. It's so tied up with the Pierre Izzy shit. Because like, what if Izzy wins? Pierre, you don't think Pierre might not get a chance at a fight also for like the big? And then like, what else is there to really gain? Right, and that's my opinion on it. Like, there's nothing to gain in it. I think he's really debating on going up another weight class or some shit. Like,
if he wasn't so short, I think that'd be a great idea. But like, he's not the tallest.
HL Sonnen ended at heavyweight.
Really?
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying, bro. Like, short people.
Hey Siri, what was
he fought Fedor? His last fight, I think, was against Fedor.
Oh, that's crazy. So he just got the money. He knows how to get a bag. He did finesse. He cut weight to go fight John Jones.
Yeah, and then ran a campaign to get the fight because John Jones backed out of the original one.
Yep. But yeah, I respect it. But that was UFC 270, what, 284?
284 in Perth, Australia.
Yeah, that shit. Australia's a beautiful place. Definitely on my top 10 places to go travel to. Like, I enjoyed the atmosphere. The crowd was awesome. Everything I felt like was packed. I wish I was there. But like, wow, that was a good card. Like, I think they're what we thought UFC London 2 was gonna be.
Yeah, and right. Does Brazil left such a bad taste in my mouth? Like now when I see these crowds, I'm like, in Australia, I think it was one of the best crowds in recent memory. Because London, like, these are some beer drinking motherfuckers that like to fight. So I enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing a crowd full of Volkanovskis and Tai Tuivasas.
First thing the boy said in after it said, they said in Australia, boom. Them boys, that was a good ass crowd. I fucked with them. They're not gonna be like the crowd in Miami though.
Back. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But we gotta get out of here. We still gotta talk about next week's fight. Stay tuned this week. We still got Blanchfield versus Andre. But we just recap UFC 284, Perth, Australia. Shout out to them Aussies. They went wild. Shout out to Islam and his camp. They showed up. They got the dub. With or without Nurse. We'll find out. But as always, this has been Paul, Pick and Win Concert. That's Kevin, Waterboy, Street Fight Enthusiast Savoy. And this has been Totally Blitz Podcast.
I got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you could call them boy crap. Man, this gang got rules, man, you better watch your passes. This ain't not new. It ain't see some accent, all I say is true. You better stop your capping, lacking really your ass all in the passing.